Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Myles. I hope your preparation is going well. We're going to go ahead right into some questions from the media. I'll identify the media by name and outlet, and we'll start off with Ralph Russo from the Associated Press.
Hey, Myles, how are you?
Doing good.
So, I know you've been on campus for a while, but then you have this weird year where all these restrictions come in as a freshman. How did that impact you getting to know your teammates beyond maybe just the group of linemen? Like, have you been able to do you feel like you've been able to get to know people?
Most definitely. If anything, I feel like I've spent all of my time around my teammates, and I've made the best bonds that I could have made in college with my teammates because I'm around them 24/7. It's just straight practice, and school was online this past semester, so sometimes I'll just be in class, and we have study hall together. So I was really around them 24/7. So I've made the best bonds with them.
Next up is Stephen Means from Cleveland.com.
Hey, Myles, can you just talk about Ohio State's offensive line and what you see when you watch them on film and what kind of problems they might cause for your defensive line?
They're pretty big offensive line, strong up front. So we're gonna have to be very strong at the point of attack up front, and they have a very good run game, very good structurally in their play calls with the stretches, inside zone, stuff like that. So we're gonna have to be very sound in our technique and very stout and strong at the point of attack to make sure the line is not moved in the wrong direction. So it's gonna be very good up there.
We'll now go to Trevor Groves from CUTigers.com.
Hey, Myles, obviously an amazing freshman season for you. Has it really sunk in yet that you've been named freshman All-American and that you're playing on this stage, the college football playoff, right out of the gates as a freshman?
It is pretty surreal. It is kind of funny to think that I was watching this exact game last year and now I'm in it. So it is very, very special to be on the couch watching it, and then the year after a great freshman season, being in the game. So it is a pretty surreal moment.
Going to David Hale from ESPN.
Hey, Myles, you obviously, I'm sure, chose Clemson in a lot of ways because of the culture and personality of the program and Dabo in particular. When you guys went through sort of this offseason and there was a lot of criticism sort of aimed at Dabo, what was it like for you, somebody who was sold on the program by him, to kind of hear some of that talk from folks outside the program, and how did the team react inside?
Well, Dabo, he always preaches to be inside out more than outside in. The sink doesn't ship unless the water gets in the ship. So he always preaches that. And I knew what type of man Dabo was. We all knew what type of man Dabo was. So what outsiders said about our coach, it really didn't affect us because we knew what type of person he was. The coaches knew what type of person he was. And we really just kind of shook off all the outside noise and just, kept going with what we knew.
We'll now go to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors.
Hey, Myles, what have some of your older teammates told you about what it's like to play against Justin Fields?
He's a very, very strong quarterback, very strong in the pocket. So when we do get to him, we're going to have to wrap up and get him all the way to the ground. We can't just tackle him initially and then just hope that he goes to the ground, because he will not go to the ground unless you make him go to the ground. So this is a very strong quarterback, very strong legs, and just try to keep him pocketed. And if he does get out running, he's very dangerous in open field. So we got to keep him in the pocket and just wrap up on him.
We'll now go to David Hood from TigerNet.com.
Hey, Myles, looking at that game last year, you probably noticed really early that one of the defensive ends drifted a little bit, didn't set the edge, and they ran that big play early. How often are you going to hear from Coach V this week about set the edge, about use your eyes? And then how important is that, considering just how strong their run game is? And if you give Sermon or Tiga a crack, they're gone.
Well, it's very important. And if I didn't know it was important before last week, I know now, because Coach V has preached it every day on multiple occasions. So it's pretty much ingrained in my head, set the edge, do this and that. So if I don't know, I know now. That's for sure.
We'll go to Andrea Adelson from ACC Network.
Myles, do you feel like the performance in the ACC championship game was the most complete defensively this season? And how much can that perhaps carry over into this game?
We did. It was we had a good outing defensively in the ACC championship game, and Coach Winnie always says we play our best games towards the end of the season. Our game normally just starts to go up towards the end of the season once we put on the orange britches, you know. So I'm sure I have full confidence that it will carry over, but we can't just hope that it will carry over. We have to put in the preparation, watch film, keep standing in weight room, recovery, stretching, and whatnot. But yes, I do see it carrying over.
We'll now go to Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports.
Myles, great last name, by the way. You talked about watching last year's game on the couch, now being in the game. How much were you looking forward to this opportunity at the time, knowing that Clemson has made it a history of getting to this point? And now that you get to play in kind of this rematch, so to speak, what's the excitement level at this point?
Well, I am very excited. It's more so getting just, staying in the preparation, staying in the playbook. But it is a very exciting moment because my teammates, they've always been talking about going to the bowl sides, what they've been doing at bowl sides. Although it's going to be very different this year, I really don't know what different is. But I'm just excited to go down to the bowl side. As we got bingo tonight, so that's going to be a little different for them, but different for me also. So, it's just something excited to do.
We have time for one more question if anyone has one. Otherwise, we can dismiss Myles. Any other questions? We'll go to Zach Brazeler from New York Post.
Myles, it's usually obviously a tough transition for most guys going from high school to college and, being a true freshman. When you throw in the virus and everything and obviously the shortened training camp and spring ball and all that stuff, how much tougher did this make this year for you as a true freshman?
Well, it is most definitely more to look out for because, if you test positive, you have to sit out a certain amount of days and possibly miss a few games. So we most definitely had to be safer when we were off on football days. So going home, had to always wear a mask. If you want to just see a friend or something, you have to always wear a mask, keep your distance and whatnot. So that itself made it a lot difficult. Then a lot of stuff in the facility changed where we're all sitting 6 feet apart from each other. Meeting room had to change from a meeting room to the indoor facility so we could keep social distance. So a lot of it has changed, but I guess progression in actual football, it's pretty much been the same. So, because I have been getting better, but besides that, everything has changed. Just on the field, progression has been just as usual as it can be.